What's good, fellas? How you guys doing?
That song gets me all jacked up, man.
Good to be back. Yeah,
It is good to be back.
That's an awesome song. I'll never get that'll never get old.
It's perfect for what we're doing here, you know. But it's our second episode, Beers with the Boys. You got me, Sam, you got Dan and Nick. You can find me at KingSam_FF. Dan, where can people find you at?
I'm at Demo99er.
And I'm Nick. You can find me at Nick Brown with an EGB.
All right. And what we do here is we talk about a little bit about beer, and then we talk about some football. So the first segment we'll get into is talking about beer. So I'll go ahead and get us going. All right. So talking about beer, we'll pull up Nick. You're the first one this time. So Nick, what beer are you drinking today?
I actually have two beers in front of me right now. It's kind of odd. I don't even remember which one I did last time, but do either of you remember? It was a Moon Man from New Glarus.
Yeah, it was Moon Man. Yeah.
So this one is actually kind of fitting. It's the Packers draft version from Fox River Brewing. So it's actually near Haji down in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So yeah, pretty good actually.
All right. Dan, what you got?
We're going with one of my all-time favorites from the MKE Brewery, Louis Demise. Great beer. If you ever get a chance to, I don't know how far they distribute it. Nick, I don't know if you've had it, but one of my all-time favorites. It's a amber ale, a lot of flavor, but not too heavy. So great beer. Check out anything from MKE. They put together a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, I think that's Wisconsin only. I've never seen that one.
MK is good.
Mm-hmm. All right. Mine is called, it's from Fly Machine. I can't remember if I had Fly Machine last time, but it's from Wilmington, North Carolina. This one's a double IPA and 8.6%. I usually stick to IPAs. I just like the way they taste, but it's good. It's nice, and it's not fruity, but it's nice and fresh. So that's the beer I would recommend. And sounds like you guys are good with yours. So beer.
Cheers.
Beer.
All right, boys. So last time we did a show and we asked for some recommendations, some questions from the fans, from people out there. And we got through about 90% of them. I went through and I added a couple so we could talk about. And then the rest of the show, we're going to talk about some RFA stuff. Roster Wars is, well, 3 of the 4 conferences are almost through the restricted free agency period. So DD, TT, and RR are all in the last call phase. PP is in their stage 3 right now. Right, Nick?
Yeah. I don't know if PP will finish by the end of April.
Yeah, maybe not. And then if we get time, we'll do some little draft stuff. But we got to make sure we keep some time allocated for the ever popular Inside the Mind of Dan.
Dangerous steaming already in here.
Yeah. All right. So the first question we had that we didn't get to last time was from Bill. He asked, what player or players that have new 2025 teams do we think will impact fantasy the most? And then are any of them that were Roster Wars RFAs? It's almost safe to talk about all the RFAs, but just we gotta be mindful. That way we don't influence anything that's going on still with PP, because as Shaq said, they have their own pace, man. So Nick, did you notice any that were in DD?
For
new free agents that signed with new teams.
I I mean, you got to look at Derek. We were talking about him earlier. He needed a quarterback, and he went out and spent a boatload on Mr. Darnold. Hope that pans out for him.
Not me so much. I hope that doesn't pan out for him.
So big names that we had moved. We had for quarterbacks. We had Sam Darnold. He signed with the Seahawks. We had Nick's favorite, Mr. Crab Legs, Jameis, and then shortly following that, Russell Wilson. What other quarterbacks signed somewhere else? Let's see.
Fields.
Was that it? Yeah, Fields. Fields signed with the Jets. So, I don't know. Those and all the contracts, in my opinion, the ones what they got signed for, they kind of all seem like bridge type level players. Maybe, with incentives to maybe be something different. Was there any running backs that were exciting? I don't think so. The big one was what? Javonte to Dallas?
Yeah.
They got to be looking to draft a running back, though, right? They got two cheap running backs. I mean, they got to be looking for that RB1.
I mean, everybody's putting them as signing either a running back or a wide receiver in the first round, right?
They need O-line, man. I mean, they just lost two pillars of their franchise. I mean, but Jerry, you never know what Jerry's going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he's flashy, so.
Wide receivers, DK was a big one. Who else? Cooper Kupp to Seattle. I'm trying to think of anybody else that was big that signed somewhere.
Still waiting for the Aaron Rodgers shoe to fall. It's taking so long.
I don't give a shit about that.
What's taking so long there? Come on. Money?
Oh, there you go. Eric helped us out. Diggs to New England. There you go. That's a big one, right? Because New England didn't have a wide receiver. So those are some big ones. Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Not many of them were RFAs, though, right?
No. I saw some clips of Diggs like doing a workout. Man, he looks fast. He looks quick and fast. I know it's against air and all that, but after just having an ACL,
yeah, that sounds like a musky take.
He was moving carefree. We're gonna go with 100 catches and 1,400 yards for Diggs this year.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I thought
we're not even in that segment yet, bro. Yeah,
I'm just joking. I don't know, but he was moving. I mean, what has it been? 6 months since he got his ACL?
Yeah, but he shredded it, didn't he?
I don't know. I just know he's moving really well. Like, I don't know how that translates into actually game speed and whatnot, but it's not like he was favoring it in these clips I saw. So he was giving it.
We forgot about a big running back, Najee, bro. Najee to the Chargers. There you go. What do you think about that one?
It's actually a good landing spot.
It's going to get plenty of touches. He's had like a Liz Frank issue, though, for a couple of years, hasn't he? At least 1 year, but he's had foot problems off and on.
I think he's been pretty fucking reliable.
Yeah. Other than that one particular injury, but I know it's been a lingering thing. What?
Yeah, so my opinion on running backs that moved, I'm kind of hesitant just because we know this is a very talented class that's coming up and very easily could be drafting a running back in any of the rounds, first 3, 4, 5 rounds, honestly. That could be a compliment or could even be a threat. So maybe the Chargers felt like they addressed it with Najee and they don't need to get another running back because Dobbins didn't resign or hasn't resigned yet. So, but I don't know. I'd invest at the right price, but I mean, he wasn't an RFA. None of those guys I think were RFAs in TT. I know Darnold was over in DD and he went for a grip, which we'll get to. But I don't think any of those other guys we talked about were. So those were pretty much the biggest and the ones we thought would have the most impact. Moving on to Colin was the next question. This is a damn good question. So we transitioned to true position, I want to say like 2, maybe 3 years ago, right?
2.
2? Okay. Do you think it's changed the IDP value in leagues at all? I don't know if you're in other leagues that didn't transition to true position. Is MFL just transitioned everybody now, every league? Or is it still commissioner decision?
I thought it was commissioner decision because I thought we had to do something special to do it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. They might have done it, but I know the leagues I'm in, we all transitioned to it just because it made the most sense with what the NFL is doing and how it translates to fantasy. It just kind of just worked hand in hand. We got Eric in the comments saying he doesn't think it changed much at all. I personally think it did.
It certainly changed the value of some positions, like
I don't want outside linebackers.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
It just feels like they aren't as valuable as they were before. At least in roster wars, setting, because we're just not high on it. I love our scoring settings because I think it's pretty balanced, but I think that we don't reward rushing linebackers a lot. Like that would make it beneficial. Oh, here you go. Matt said the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think it kind of is closer to the NFL game. I thought it evened out the value a little bit, as far as defensive players. You can find that, I don't know, you can find some really good outside linebackers / edge rushers that, like a Harold Landry, who flies under the radar and puts up decent numbers all the time. But I don't remember him being as valuable until they went to true IDP.
Yeah.
True position,
I think there's a lot of people, at least in the chat and probably us, that we kind of probably all played the same when we were looking at that middle linebacker anyway. And that's what we were valuing based off of the number of snaps and the number of tackles that they get. Whereas the outside, when you do different schemes, it's usually those guys that get rotated in and out. So that's what I like to look at I like to look at that floor. And I don't think the true position really affected that much. But if we played in a different league that was like what's big scoring where they big plays and stuff, then I think that has a little more effect. But in roster war scoring settings, I think if you were kind of playing for tackle floor anyway, it wasn't any kind of difference at all you can see. Good question though. All right, so those were the 2 questions that we got to from last show. So now we're gonna get into RFA, and like I said, DD is pretty much almost done. I think you got 1 nomination currently on the board, but you're in the last stages. I pulled this stuff back on Sunday, so there's been a couple additions, but this was the whole DD board of who got what, free agents, and who didn't. You guys got any glaring things from this that you want to talk about? If not, we'll go into the next couple slides where we're talking about like continuity over all the leagues, and then we'll break out the certain teams that asked for them to. Seems like everybody wanted us to give them the D, so we're going to give them the D. We're going to be brutally honest with our opinions, but they're getting the D.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely overpays on that list, right? I mean, we talked about kind of the deals and the overpays, but I guess to each his own in in RFA. I mean, you got a guy you like, go get him, especially if you have Andy type money and you're paying for Mufasa or whatever his name is for 60 WBs. I don't think I had 60 the whole RFA.
That's a personal problem.
I think at one point, I had 70 at one point after Ferguson got, I don't know. It's a blur. But
all right, so here's a question for you. How many people in DD actually use the comp tag?
It was like 5, I think.
Did anybody actually did you guys have big winners off the comp tag, or were they all like Dan where you got like what 15 Warbucks back for Ferguson?
Brad got 65 for Bond.
think I got 20 for 30.
Yeah.
But, that's a good buy for Bond, in my opinion. I mean, he was a stud last year. If you're going to go get somebody, you might as well go get somebody with that ceiling,
And I lose out on those guys all the time because I hate bidding on comp tag guys. So, like, I went a different route, and I needed a linebacker, and I went with Quincy Williams, which I also like, but Bond, it's for
how much did you spend on Quincy?
$55, which is a lot.
You like Bond a lot more.
I like Bond more, yeah.
But you were in your head, you didn't want to give that money back to, who was it, Brad?
I'm not giving Brad ammo to shoot me with it later. And he ended up not spending any money anyway, so it didn't matter.
You're such a little bitch. You're a little bitch. All right, we'll get to that because here it's on this slide. So, Dan, you talked a little bit about overpays. I got this list from you guys and what you felt were overpays, at least in the DD. And I was able to put up what those prices were in all the other conferences, or if they were even applicable. So you see Chase Brown was identified as an overpay. He's going to get to one of the owners. We're going to get to that. And one of the owners, because he was the one that bought him. He spent the 212 and 99 Warbucks for Chase Brown. In TT, he was franchise tagged by the Gold Diggers. So we still got a day and a half. He hasn't been bid on yet. And PP, another owner that we're going to talk about, Shaq got him for 44 Warbucks. And then RR, he wasn't available in the RFA. So that's a big difference right there from 212 and 99 and 44. Crazy. So should whoever had Chase Brown, I don't know who had him over in DD, should they have used the franchise tag? Should she use the franchise tag on him?
I think she did just fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one you guys gave was Jalen Warren. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if she franchise tags him. I mean, is Tyler still going to give up a first potentially for Brown?
Tyler.
Well, see, I think that's the thing, right? Are you playing to keep the player, or are you playing to receive a compensation that you're ready to receive if you have to move on from him? I think like Han Yang made him a franchise tag. I think that's pretty safe. I think Chase Brown's probably not worth the first, at least in this draft, right? I think Cincinnati could draft a running back. I think Chase Brown could, maybe be in trouble if that happens. So putting a first round price tag on him, I think secures that, hey, look, you're safely gonna keep him. Second round, then especially with the 212. But I mean, to get up to 99 Warbucks, Carla had to have been matching for a hot minute.
Yeah. So beyond the franchise tag, right?
Yeah. I mean, your franchise tag's 50, so she was matching beyond that. I don't know if she used the franchise tag or not. I know we had several people in TT that didn't use franchise tags. I'll give you an example. Sty bought Micah Parsons, and because Ben put him as a transition tag, and I would have just put him as a franchise tag and kept him instead of getting the 7 for him. But Shaq said that Carla matched up to 93 for Chase Brown.
Yeah, that's steep. But the thing about a TT is you're getting a shitty second round pick. Like you're basically getting a third round pick, for your. So I mean, the way I look at it is it's just I'm matching as high as I can with that because I don't want a 2.12. Sometimes you gotta tag somebody sometime, and if she franchise tags somebody else.
Yeah, but she matched almost up to a super tag for Chase Brown. Like I don't like that.
Yeah, but she doesn't make many moves. It's not like she's pretty tight with her money. So I mean, he was decent last year. If he can if they don't draft a running back that can steal carries from him or catches, which is definitely a possibility, but you know, Kyler doesn't make too many dumb moves, so you kind of got to trust.
All right.
What
Well, let me
she's
ask you a
doing.
question because I just looked it up now. She did not even use a franchise tag. So good
she
move or
didn't
not
wanna-
good move?
So she didn't want to protect him,
Yeah.
but she was willing to spend up to 93,
Yep.
which would have been what 40 some beyond what she spent initially. 50
Yep. So
some.
she spent 25 and it went up to 93. So she matched up to 93. So public math, that's like what, 72? Or wait, sorry, 68. So she matched up to 68 more bucks. It would have been cheaper just to give the extra 25 in the jump and have that first round tag, even if it's a future first, because a future first, at least you're getting that 50 back. Or well, actually, you're getting more than that 50 back.
More
You're
than
getting,
that,
yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, I think it all. This shit, you know, it's exciting to me, and it's crazy. I love thinking about it because everybody's got different strategies. Everybody's got different ways they want to do shit, and most of the time, I'm not gonna say I do this with every player, but most of the time, I will try to set the price at what I would be comfortable at losing the player. I think maybe this was a different strategy, or maybe she didn't think people would come after him for that amount. But damn, that's a healthy amount that Tyler paid, and if I was me, I would have liked to have gotten back more than just my 212 and 25 Warbucks.
The thing about, the market had a lot to do with it. There were not a lot of skilled players in DD available this year. That's where it all came down to, is just, if you wanted to add a piece that you think, if you wanted to add a piece that you think was going to be impactful, chances are you were anticipating overpaying for them because there just weren't a lot to go around.
I'm gonna stream through a couple of these real quick just so we can get moving on. But so Warren, you guys mentioned he went for 20 in DD and 33 in RR. Jalen Coker, man, that's fucking wild to me. And DD went to 42. RR went for 20. He was on my taxi squad in TT, and Crusaders, fucking Tom sniped him from me and poached him. And then in PP, we're not gonna talk about because he's actually on the block. He's being nominated. He's being bid on right now. I'm a big Coker fan, but man, that price tag in DD is hefty.
Was there an article on Coker or something? Because we have our auctions in my local dynasty, and he went for an insane amount there too. And
somebody must have said something.
Huh?
Somebody must have said something out there in the fantasy space, because like all of a sudden, like, it was the same thing with Boutte. Everybody was on Boutte for a week. I don't know what was said, but
well, I mean, did Coker look better than Leggett last year? I mean, people could legitimately think Coker's the wide receiver 1 in Carolina. I don't know. I mean, he did have some good games down the stretch, right?
I mean, I like Coker, man. I was the only one that drafted him in all of Roster Wars, and I like him, but I don't want to talk too much because like he's on the board, but 42 is steep.
Yeah.
Shakir went for a lot.
Christian Kirk, my boy.
Shakir went for a lot. Mooney went for a lot. How about Rose Boom? Look at that fucking difference. 40 in DD and then like almost 10 in every other conference. So what's going on in DD that you guys overvalue this guy? Same thing with Anzalone's a little bit, but still.
I couldn't figure it out. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know about Rosenboom, but Roseboom, but Anzalone was mine, and when I like a guy, I'll pay whatever I need to. It's my life.
Sorry, I was waving to Ariel.
Roseboom was on the trading block forever. Derek was trying to get rid of him. I mean, if you really wanted him, you probably could have got him and protected him. And if you really thought he was that good, you could have probably spent a lot less.
Yeah.
I just don't get that scenario. I don't know.
I'm on the mindset of the guys that spent 7 and 10 on him. I just think he's a replaceable player. I think he was buoyed by snaps last year, which is good. That's what you want, IDP. I just don't know if he gets that same snap count this year. I would bet on it for 10 more bucks because I'd throw that around, but 40 is a lot. Hey man, I mean, you guys, it all depends, right? So like on our side, Haji had all the money, and Haji did a lot of bidding, bought a lot of players, and we'll try to get to that. But so maybe that kind of took an effect, and the timing always takes an effect too. Like when someone comes on the board and when they don't. So
did Roseboom go to the Eternals? Is that where he went? Who ended up winning them in DD?
I think so.
Roseboom went to the Carla.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Well,
money bags.
She's IDP queen, so I gotta trust that. Maybe I'm fucked up. Maybe she knows what she's doing. So
I got no reason to doubt Carla. So
nope, none. Not when it comes to IDP. She likes to tell everybody, but she doesn't know it. But she knows it. So
yeah,
we know you're a phony, Carla.
The player you want to talk about is the one, the only Malik Mustafa, who is absolutely worth every bit of that 60 Warbucks, by the way.
You know what would be an interesting bet? Would be
you gonna have the nuts to throw a board bet? Let's go.
I'm not saying that. I don't have any nuts at all. So just look at. I'll take Evan Williams over Mustafa any day. I'll take my 1 WB Evan Williams to score more than Mustafa.
Mustafa's going to be a safety one this year.
Oh, congratulations. Evan Williams ain't slouch. I mean, he's flying way under the radar right now.
You guys are going to draft some DBs because you're all fucked up. Evan Williams is not going to be. He's going to be waiver wire fodder by week 3.
Stop yourself.
All right. On to values. Legit. On to values. Deshaun Watson. I don't know how that's a fucking value, but he's a quarterback, so he's a value, I guess. David Montgomery went for $40 in DD. He was transition tagged in both TT and PP. He's currently on the board in TT. I think it's like 26 Warbucks and a future second, but Tom's one that has him. He matched. Aaron Jones, 20 Warbucks. That was good. Christian Kirk. I know that Dan loves Christian Kirk. 15 Warbucks.
Yeah, I nominated him there. I can't deny that's a good deal.
Cody Barton. There was the board all over around him. 20 Warbucks, 25, 23, 36. Sty was the one that did the 36 and for us. And then,
I like that pick for Nick.
What's that? Oh, Cody Barton.
The Barton. I mean, relative to his production, that's a steal. I mean, I'll take that over a Roseboom all day. And look at would you rather have Monty or Chase Brown? Monty, right?
All right, Shaq's got a question for us. Going back to Mustafa real quick. Where do you think Mustafa should be drafted in a rookie draft if he was available?
5th round, 6th round. He's worth about 7 more bucks.
Oh.
So we're talking RW draft? Probably
I don't know how DD drafts. I don't know how DD drafts IDP. I know for us, he'd probably go in the 4th.
I got Branch in the 3rd round when he was a rookie. I think you can expect him in the 3rd or 4th round if he's really considered Branch was considered one of the top safeties coming out of college. He lasted to the 3rd.
All right, and then last one we got on here. Everybody that had Zach Bond comped him, minus the PP because he wasn't available. I think he was on a contract, and it looks like every conference was right there with it. 60 to 65, 66 Warbucks.
I like me some Zach Bond.
Yeah.
I only wish I would have kept him.
All right, so those were the overvalues or overpays and values that you guys had. We're going to get into giving some people the D real quick while we have the opportunity. So, Tyler, Derek and John all requested the hard D. So this is what we got for their teams, putting them all together. This is what they spent on their offensive breakdown and defensive breakdown. So you see Tyler spent 151 Warbucks on 4 players on offense. The most of that, which we talked about, was Chase Brown at 99 plus the 212. John got 5 at 38, and Derek got 2 at 86, and his big spender was Sam Darnold. On defense, it looks like that's where John went a little heavier. But so Warlocks got 5 players at 86, John got 8 players at 106, and Derek got 4 at 35. So here we go on the 2-town Warlocks. So he spent that 60 plus or $60, 60 Warbucks on Zach Bond and on Chase Brown. Those were his big ones. For his team makeup, you guys are in DD. Good buys, bad buys. Let's give it to him.
I'm not a Chase Brown guy. I'm not a Chase Brown guy. He's not a special athlete. He's in a good offense. Yeah, he performed well last year. He had some decent numbers. He's not going to replicate that. I'm sorry, Tyler. It was stupid.
Ultimately, right, Zach Bond, good at or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tyler competing for a playoff spot this year. I mean, Chapter 1's wide open, right? It's got a little bitch in there named the Wine Rinse.
Andy. I don't know. I had a losing record last year, so I don't know.
Looking at Tyler's roster, Chase Brown does make sense for him regardless of the price. I mean, his other running back is Chuba Hubbard, so he's going to end up – he's got the 1 – does he have the 1 pick?
I thought he had the 1-1 unless he traded it. I thought he had like the 1-1 and the 1-2.
So he's going to have Brown.
But it's y'all's Hubbard. Conference. You let me know.
Yeah.
Tyler has the 1 and the 2. So
yeah. So
he's taking Gianti and somebody else.
So at the end of the day, he ends up with Brown and Gianti. So Brown ends up being the running back 3 on his team. I don't know. It made him better. Bottom line, I don't know how big of a difference it makes, but it made him better.
Man, Dan, you're soft. You got the soft D right now.
It's just limp D, man.
I got a limp D.
All right. So overall, Tyler did a decent to good job at buying Chase Brown and Zach Bond and his big name players. Next person is Derek. Derek's big spender was at Sam Darnold. You can see that big ass orange graph right there for Sam Darnold. I know Derek needed a quarterback. I think he even made a trade to get Warbucks to buy Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Derek's team is very good. Last I looked, though.
No,
I mean it's not musky bad, but
I think it is. I think it is. And you never buy a player. You never buy a player like this in desperation, and he bought it straight in desperation and way overpaid.
Okay, in fairness, we're playing like good cop, bad cop here, or whatever. But he has 0 quarterbacks. His other quarterbacks are Andy Dalton and Aiden O'Connell.
Whoa, Andy! I thought Andy Dalton was out of the league.
I mean, you can't go into week 1 with 0 quarterbacks, right? I mean, unless you're Nick and you find some schmuck to sell you Baker Mayfield for 5 WBs, but
Thank you. I appreciated that one.
Who knows?
Right, so good buy on Sam Darnold is what Dan is saying. So Derek, that means it's pretty shitty because we're not doing inside Dan's mind yet. But
I mean, is the price high? Yeah, but he needed a quarterback. What are you gonna do?
Sty has spoken. QBs are not necessary.
But 0, you have to have more than 0.
All right. Everybody loves to talk about John, so let's hear about John. John was pretty consistent all across the board. His big spender was Christian Wilkins, but he was it looked like he was pretty disciplined in what he was doing. He didn't really spend more than 20 to 25 Warbucks on any really big player. So
Probably all future Hall of Famers. Freaking the luck of the English is just John knows, man. I won't doubt any of the players. No hard D.
Man, you guys love to talk up John.
No, John. Being in chapter 1 with John sucks, man. John he just does well. He always does well. He went through his little mini rebuild right now, but I mean, he'll be at the top soon.
All right, Dan, you got to be back up.
I can't say anything bad about John. Like,
oh my god.
I mean, has he made the playoffs every year he's been in the league, and multiple Division I crowns and whatnot, but.
I mean, the only competition in Division I is Andy. Now maybe Tyler, but the other team in there is lucky.
Really not good.
Yeah.
When John makes a move, I try and pay.
Conceded,
When John makes a move, I try and pay attention because it's like the Midas. It's like King Midas. I mean, everything turns to gold, man. The mind of John. I try and get in the mind of John when he makes a deal.
I'm sick of the let's kiss John's butt. I love you, John, but we're moving on. All right. We're going to talk about TT now, and I have a little more graphics on here. Sorry for everybody else, but it's because it's my conference, and I kept track of all this shit. So this one pretty much just shows that, hey, in TT, I think this year, more than most, people went heavy early, and we had a lot of Warbucks that got exchanged of hands. Haji went in with a shit ton. He spent over 500 in this RFA alone. A lot. Yeah. So total stats so far, this is up to a couple hours ago. There's been a couple players that have came off the board since then, but there's been 127 players that were won or retained, not including the super franchise tags or the extensions, and everybody in TT used the extension like they should because it's smart. 1,815 Warbucks were spent, not including the tags, and if you include all the tags, it was over 3K. That's a lot of fucking money, man. Wow. This is the pie graph of how everybody went. Like I said, Haji spent a grip, 508.
A sixth of it.
Yeah, man, a lot. All the way down to the pigskins, and he asked for the D, so we'll give it to him, but he spent barely nothing. Obviously, there were some teams that came into this with a lot difference of capital than others, so that also takes into play. There was offensive spending from each person. You see, Haji right there, he spent a shit ton on wide receivers, and it goes from there. And we'll put this in the show that way everybody can go over and review all this stuff later. I'm trying to get to everybody while we have the opportunity. And then defense, and what was the main spending there pretty much was linebackers and defensive ends.
What was the average age of Haji's free agent signings? 47?
65. So I will tell you that if you haven't looked at the TT landscape, I think there are the haves and the have-nots. There is no middle class, and I think Haji, with his $508, probably fucking put himself into contention if he can get a fucking quarterback, because even though Sty says QBs are not necessary, they are.
There it is
and
again.
He's got Aaron Rodgers right now on the transition tag, and Sty's better half has told us that Sty needs more Warbucks so she can go get Aaron Rodgers, so he can go get Aaron Rodgers. So Sty, hit me up and I'll give you some Warbucks for that, buddy. But here are the 4 teams that asked for the D. Oh, hold on. So Goon Squad and Pigskins asked for the D, but Tom is wants the lighter side, so he just wants it. He wants you to be nice to him, and it's Sty. So, but out of those 4 teams, Red Knights. So Sty, he spent the most total out of everybody, but he spent them on 9 players for 80 Warbucks on offense, 8 players for 160 on defense. Sty went heavy on D. Easy spent 6 players. He spent for 139. The big one there is Rashid Shaheed. Surprise to everybody, except for Easy. 9 players on defense for 93. Tom spent two players on offense for 12 and 6 players for 84 on the defense. Piggies didn't really do shit. We'll get the Piggies. He kind of just, his RFA was trades. But he did get 3 players on offense for 14 Warbucks and no defenders yet. I think he just cleared a cornerback, but that don't count. So here's Sty. Like I said, Sty spent heavy on the defense. He went after Micah Parsons. He gave up the 2-7 and 70-something Warbucks. Let me go back and look. 2-7 and 78 Warbucks for Micah Parsons. Fucking great buy, in my opinion. I would have put Parsons as a franchise tag, especially because I don't think Ben didn't use a franchise tag. And he spent on Cody Barton. He was the one that spent the most out of him, 36. But Sty went heavy on the D, and he spent some at wide receiver, at running back as well, with some backup guys with Isaiah Garendo, who sucks, and Jordan Mason, who sucks. So you should trade both of them to me for a 7th round pick. Right? You guys look at any of the TT rosters?
Yeah. I was looking at Sty's roster, and I'll say this. I'm glad Sty, I love Sty, but I'm glad Sty's roster is the way it is because it gives me hope that I won't be pink. So that's kind of a rough roster. I mean, he added some defense, but I mean, I think we've seen that in DD. If you have a strong enough defense, it can definitely keep you around the 500 mark, even if you have a suspect offense. But I don't know, just an interesting direction to go for Sty.
I think I don't think Sty is going to be
way.
pink. I think the Muskies might return to pink again. I'm willing to bet on that. If you want to bet,
Stop yourself.
All right, so that was Sty. Next one was Goonies. Like I said, he spent some big money on Shaheed, a lot of money on Shaheed, and he says that's what he gets for putting a target on Shaheed. I agree, man. I was about Shaheed all before RFA started. Shaq and I were talking, and I said, "Hey, man, I think that I think I would put a 2nd round transition tag on Shaheed just to protect him." And Ed didn't do anything, so he made him vulnerable. And so I don't know if I would have paid as much as Goonies did for him, but he did. So I think that was a big spend. I think it was 55 Warbucks. Let me go check. It was 50 Warbucks. He spent 50 Warbucks on Shaheed. Other than that, he spent big on Brian Robinson, and then Jake Ferguson. He ended up doing, I think it was the 212 and like 26 Warbucks. My opinion.
How much did he spend on Robinson?
He spent 44. Yeah. So Easy's got a bunch of draft picks coming up. I don't think he's in contention for pink. Obviously, he is coming up from it. I think some of these might have been misplaced. And if you don't know, man, I don't recall exactly how many auctions there were in TT. So if there were 200, Easy bid on 198. Yeah. He bid on every fucking player, man.
One more buck at a time.
Yeah, bro. Like, honestly, when the day started, I thought, like, fuck, man. He's when RFA kicked off, I was like, he's price enforcing from fucking minute 10. But he bid on everybody. But I mean, hey, man, everybody does different strategies.
I think that was a post-horse strategy, is what it was. I think he was just looking to boost his numbers, trying to catch Nick in the posts.
That's what it was. He says that. I was trying to catch Nick's post count.
Bid on everybody.
I'm sorry. With that post whoring, you got stuck with Brian Robinson for $44, man.
Yeah, and Shaheed.
That's a little rough.
I will say though, man, like Easy invested in some players that if he would not be so stuck in his fucking stubborn ways, he could trade for value later. But Easy's gonna try to trade Shaheed for a bunch of shit and then ask for 5-6 round picks on top of it. So, but I think he spent a lot of money. I think he was very fucking active in RFA. Yeah.
Wish he was as good at RFA as he is at pool.
The
next person was Tom. And Tom wants it soft, guys. So he spent big on keeping Jermaine Pratt. That was pretty much it. He came in with not a lot of money. He kept like 3 or 4 of his guys, but Jermaine Pratt was his big one he kept. For me, Jermaine Pratt is a little bit volatile because we don't know what his future is going to be. He's asked for a trade. So Cincinnati definitely needs defensive help. He could definitely be replaced here in 9 days.
I think he's only got 1 year left on his contract in Cincy anyway, I believe. So, who knows after that?
Yep.
He'll probably
There's
be
not
solid.
much to say about Tom. He did. He's, in my opinion, he's one of the ones that is the haves. So keeping the guys he did was smart. I think he's going to be a competitor this year, and whether Pratt plays for Cincinnati or he plays somewhere else, I think he's going to be a player. So
I can't believe he still has some draft picks. What the hell's going on, Tom? I think he's got like 4, 5, and 6, like some 4th, 5th, and 6th. Like,
jeez,
man, he'll move those.
I expected that to be cleaned out when I looked at his roster.
And then the last one is Piggies. Like I said, he didn't really have much. He came in with a decent, or not a decent amount like the big stacks, but he had enough, and he kind of just traded. He zigged when people zag. So you see, he traded 122 Warbucks. He traded 42 and 38, so whatever that is, what's 80 to Sty. But he ended up getting 3 2027 second round picks, and then he got a couple wide receivers or a running back and a couple wide receivers. So his RFA was pretty much those trades. And honestly, I think he probably got stuck with a wide receiver or two on accident. He probably nominated him thinking to put it on the board and thinking somebody would. I mean, I don't know how it is in DD, but in TT we have a lot of players that are definitely stuck on their last year's roster, so they'll match almost always.
Yeah.
All right, that's DD and TT. The last one that we wanted to get through was the Tiger Sharks. So none of us are in PP, none of us are in RR, but you can kind of look at PP and just because they're taking a while and see what the landscape and see what they're doing. And I think Shaq here got a fucking steal early on when PP was sleeping. So you can see he spent 103 Warbucks on 5 players in offense and then 56 for 3 players on defense. The big ones I've highlighted here with Saquon, he put him on a franchise tag. I know Carla came after him. I don't know if Keith did or not, but he ended up only having to pay the extra 15 Warbucks, so matching up to 65 to keep Saquon. Spent 44 on Chase Brown. Chase Brown. And you saw what Tyler did earlier. Shaq is a big fan of Chase Brown, as here. He's got a 9.81 RAS score. So at 44, that's a good bet. 9 Warbucks
44
on
fine. Not a second and 99.
Yeah. I think Chase Brown was a comp tag too in PP. Cooper Kupp was 9 Warbucks, which is fucking insane. I mean, I get it. He's old. He's going to new offense, but 9 Warbucks is just like, that's nothing. 20 Warbucks for Mark Anderson is also nothing.
Yeah.
And 30 for Zaire Franklin. Like those are some impact players that he just added to his roster.
30 for Zaire. How does that happen?
103 Warbucks. He added 4 impact players, and he kept Saquon for, that's insane.
Mark Andrews is still young enough, even if Likely goes off and becomes their next tight end, like he still has a career ahead of him somewhere else, like.
Yeah, so I think Shaq fucking killed it. He has some other ones too, but I think he had an amazing RFA.
Mm-hmm.
All right, buddies. We're 50 minutes. We're 50 minutes in. We are done with the RFA. I think everybody knows what time it is. So, Dan, are you ready?
Sure.
What's up, dorks? It's your boy Steve Ranazizi, aka Kevin Brian, maybe Tall Guy rings a bell. This message is for the Beers with the Boys podcast. Beers with the Boys, a new podcast about sports. How novel. But you guys, you started something, and this is going to be in the intro. So, Beers with the Boys. Thanks, folks, for tuning in to the best Dynasty Fantasy football content out there. We're drinking beer, and we're talking football. And then the segment's going to introduce. The next segment is In the Mind of Dan, where Dan, wise Dan, is going to give his outrageous takes. Now, you know Dan. Dan's sort of the Ruxin of this group. He has very opinionated takes that usually are not backed by any facts whatsoever, just gut instincts. And they're usually hurtful and wrong. Look, if you listen to Dan, you'll probably end up winning the Sacco, but you'll probably have a laugh or two along the way. So, the guys in the podcast are Sam, Nick, and Dan. Nick and Dan are Packers fans, and we're not going to hold that against them. And Sam is a 49ers fan, so the window is closed for Sam. Enjoy the podcast, enjoy your football season, and Shiva Kamini so Makanda cry.
I love it. Kevin.
Oh, let me switch this around quick. Hold on.
That's good stuff.
There you go. I had to get you as the fucking primary guy.
That was good stuff.
Yeah, Ruxin, what's up, buddy?
All right, what do you want to know? What do you know? What's going on in here?
So we had a question from the chat, and I don't want you to blow me up, so you don't need to say me. But if you had to pick a TT team to take over, which team would it be, and what would be your first moves?
Well, I looked at a few teams, and I guess it depends on which way I'd want to approach it. You know, obviously, Pigskins have a pretty stacked team. So if I just wanted to roll in and have a great team, obviously, you know,
If I just wanted to do that,
I would trade with them. I mean, if they wanted to trade, let's roll. You know, but even if I had the Pigskins, you know, they probably need a quarterback before too long, so probably have to make a deal to get a quarterback somewhere in there. They got Baker Mayfield. Yeah. Or no, do they have Baker? Yeah.
He has Herbert. He has T-Law. Yeah. I think he does have Baker.
I mean, and that's not horrible, but that's just relative to the rest of his roster. It's pretty stacked. So, I mean, I guess that would
Matt,
be
Matt said he'd trade with you, so we just need to get Andy to let it happen.
No, Matt, you don't want, no. But, you know, if I want to approach it the other way and just really have a ton of picks and already a good base of players, I'd go Goon Squad because they got a ton of draft capital. They got young players ready to go. So, I mean, if I want to go that direction, I would go. I mean, I looked at your roster, Sam, and sorry, it just doesn't cut it. You know, I mean,
that's a compliment, buddy. That's good. That's good.
Plus, if I picked you, I mean, your head is already too fucking big, so you'd never get to work in the morning if I picked you. So we're not now. You know, if the off chance I did pick you, you know, the first thing I would do, and we've talked about this before, is moving CMC. I think his ceiling is to the point where you get what you can now, because I don't think it's I know you guys are a visual guy, so I put a little visual here for you. This is CMC flexing here.
and
is that his nuts hanging down?
Yeah,
it kind of looks like it. That's funny. That's the first thing you would notice. That's actually somebody's shoe in the background, but thanks, Navy boy. Anyway. See, the red area of CMC indicates every.
Sorry, there's a little pink ball hanging down between his legs, and
yeah, don't pay attention to that. The red indicates every area of CMC that will probably get hurt the next year. The only safe place that CMC is not going to get hurt is right this area here. That's the only part that's safe. Everything else is no. Just sell them.
If Dan doesn't like CMC, that means he is going to be the top running back this year. And
don't worry about this area here. It's not in red, but it's not an issue. Okay.
I know we wanted to give the D to everybody, but you don't need to touch somebody's nuts. Like. All right, last question. Dan, who is your favorite running back in this draft not named Ashton Jeanty?
I mean, are we talking like steals, or are we talking like the next running back off the board, or like I just like him because,
whatever you want to, whoever you want to bring up. And Sty said you're ashamed for talking about the PP.
So, are you going to use this as whoever I name? You're going to use that as leverage to either draft him or not draft him when I.
If you say a name, I'm going to draft him because obviously he must be like.
Probably the Ohio State running back. I probably like him.
Okay, there's two of those.
I know. I mean, I like Judkins and I like Henderson. I think Judkins is. Is he considered the next guy off the board after Gianti? A lot of places I'm seeing, maybe the most NFL ready, but it's hard not to take him next. But I like Henderson as well.
Okay,
I don't think that's too crazy, right? Like,
no, it's not too crazy.
I can be logical.
Sure, you went with consensus.
All right. To be fair, my first running back that I have any chance of taking is probably going to be drafted in the 5th round in the NFL draft. So, there's that.
Oh, you don't want to let him go? You don't want to let that out?
No, you can't steal my Aaron Jones. No.
All right. Well, that was In the Mind of Dan. Boys, we're going to wrap it up. We're at 58 minutes. I know we were trying to keep it at an hour. So, Nick, you got any parting thoughts?
No. I just for some reason, have CMC's balls on my mind. No, Scott. It's come on.
It's an orange knee pad. They're playing the Bengals or something. It's orange.
That is definitely not a knee pad.
Kiss it.
Maybe it's a foot. I don't know.
No,
it's definitely orange though.
Always fun. I enjoy this. I'm glad that we're doing it once a month. Can't wait till next time. And I only had 2 beers this time. So
nice. Dan, besides the nutsack on your face, anything else?
I'm going to put that nutsack right back here. So it's a reminder every time of what parts of the CMC are going to be hurt. And you can stare at that nutsack the whole time. I'm excited about the NFL draft coming up. So, yeah, the fan of me is coming out. I want Green and Higgins for the Packers. I want a defensive end and I want a wide receiver. Go get them.
Let's go.
And Higgins. All right. Yeah, we're 8 days away, man. And I know Nick and you guys are right there in the thick of it. I'm jealous. If you haven't ever been to the draft, it's a fucking experience. I went when it was in Philly. It was fun as shit. So, yeah, Nick, I know you're going to be there. Dan, you going to go?
No, I have a fishing tournament that weekend.
Oh, that's gay.
I got more important shit to do. I'll be watching a draft in a bar. Obviously, I live in Wisconsin, and that's what we do. Well, but
yeah, I've been there. You guys don't drink.
No, it's not drinking to us. It's a way of life. It's not, you can call it drinking, but it's just living.
Well, this is episode 2, and it was fun. I appreciate you boys. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. This was a great time, and we'll probably get another one up next month after the draft, and review some shit about that. So until next time, from Sam and Nick and Dan, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.
See you guys.